Hi, and welcome back. Attorney Steve Vondran. Welcome, bar takers of America. Yeah, it's that time again. It's bar exam time. This is a time when you law grads, you law school grads, you're ready to show your stuff and get that ticket to the dance and get out and start making some money instead of paying people money all the time for these classes. Anyway, I got my top 10 tips. I've been thinking about this. I got a nephew who would ask me for some of my tips. I'm going to share my tips with all you. That's what I do. That's what Attorney Steve does. All right. So I'm back. I got my top 10 tips. I like to do my top 10s, as you know. This one, the top 10 tips, Attorney Steve style, how to pass the bar exam. Okay. Now this could apply to, you could be taking them in any state. I think, some states may have a 2-day or a 3-day. Some states may have what we call a racehorse where you really got to zip through it. There's a lot of questions. And other cases, in other states, may have more of a timed approach where you have time to read it, time to breathe. But you got to expect the worst. You got to expect the racehorse, and you got to be ready for it. So, without further ado, let's go into my top 10 tips right now. Okay, number 1. Do you see what I have up here on the board? I put it up number 1 because I think it's the most important one. I think what happens, people tend to get into the bar exam. There's a lot of people. There's movements. There's chitter. It's kind of chaos. It's kind of a controlled chaos environment. At least I took 2 bar exams, one in California, one in Tucson, Arizona. So I'm barred in 2 states. So I've been through 2 of these myself. So I know a little bit about them. Passed them both. So, but this is important right here. And I remember when I took the California bar. Just so you know, I did not take the bar prep study course. It was about $3,000 back then. It was a lot of money to me, and I said, I worked really hard. I don't think I should have to go take bar review, and I'm not going to do it because I really put the hay in the barn, as we like to say, and I was ready. Like, I did all my own outlines. I attended every class. I don't think I ever missed a class in law school. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I was prepared. I was ready to go. I did not take the bar exam. But when I got into, the bar prep, when we actually got into the bar testing room, here's what a proctor came in and he put this on the board. It was a gigantic board, and he wrote it gigantic, about 10 times the size of this. And we're all sitting there, I think kind of a little nervous, ready to get going, and, not sure what was coming, but we were kind of ready. And he puts RTDQ, and we're all just going, is it going to testable? What does it stand for? Read the damn question. Read the damn question. And he said, a lot of people will fail the bar exam because they'll have all the brains, but they won't read the question. They'll start rambling on something that was never asked. And I think this is your biggest, aside from making sure you spot every issues, which I think is like missing a key issue is really going to get you. But read the damn question. Know what the bar tester is testing. Okay, don't start rambling on something they're not even asking. You will not get any points for that. Why would you? So read the damn question. Now that could be your multi-states, and what I like to do, my approach on multi-states, these big long, paragraphs, and then you have to go critically read, analyze, and make these fine line legal distinctions. I like to read the question first. Because I tell you. And I do this in the practice of law all day long. When I start with reading an opinion, I start at the bottom. I want to know what the deal is, and then I'll go read it, okay? Same thing, read the damn question. Go to the bottom of the question first. I like to know right off the bat, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? I'm going to show you everything I know, but what do you want to know? Okay? Read the question first. Essay question, same thing. I would go right down to the question. What's the question? If it says typical... discuss the rights of the party, something way open-ended like that, which is very typical to see. Okay, then you can do your thing. But if they're asking a specific question, what are the rights of Bobby versus Joey? You want to answer that question. Don't start talking about what these other Susie's going to do with Jamie. Don't start talking about the rights. They don't want to know. You'll waste your time, and you're off topic. Okay. 1, read the damn question. Okay. 2. Read those facts closely. Once you go back and now you're reading the facts, I told you start at the bottom, go back, read the facts, read them closely, and I want you to focus on the facts. The examiner is putting certain facts in there for certain reasons, okay? Some of the facts have relevance. Some of the facts have no relevance, okay? Billy was wearing a blue hat. Does that matter? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Was this a case of color blindness or something? Maybe it does matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. Okay? So don't take the bait on the red herrings. Focus clearly on the facts. Read the damn question. Number 2, read those facts closely. They're going to want you to weave those into your argument, into your essay. They're going to want to see that you read the facts, that you either understand their significance or you dismiss them as irrelevant, not relevant, or just don't even talk about it. You don't have to talk about every single fact. Talk about the key facts that are relevant, okay? So read those facts closely. Tip number 2. 3, the facts will give rise to the legal issue. So you're reading all the facts, you see what happened factually, as a matter of fact, what happened. And that gives rise to the legal issue. And the legal issue, that's part of it, is usually you want to say, the issue here would be, does the insanity doctrine apply? So you want it, the facts will give rise to the legal issue. This is why it's so important that you must know the law cold. This was my torts professor, Holtman, loved Holtman. He said, know the facts cold. And, so that's where you put the hay in the barn. If you're going to do bar review, that's great. And, they're going to go over all the topics, put in the time, but know the law cold. Okay. Number 4, this is huge. Okay. Now you've read the damn question. You've analyzed the facts closely. You know what the legal issues are. You know what the rule of law is. You're ready to go for it, right? Halt. Don't just start going into it. Don't go crazy, because what's going to happen is you're not going to remember everything that you need to talk about and everything you want to talk about. So outline before you write. Outline before you write. So what I would typically do, Attorney Steve style, back in the good old day, read the facts. I would have a separate piece of paper, and I would just draw the outline. Okay, I got to make sure I talk about negligence. There's a negligence per se. I've got to make sure I address intentional infliction of emotional distress. I got to get, looks like false imprisonment's an issue. I don't think it's false imprisonment, but I'm going to talk about it. DDD, I'm going to give both sides of the story. But outline before you write. Don't spend a ton of time. Like, you can't turn your outline in and get points for it. But the outline will help you focus and write a nice, beautiful essay. And it's the same thing once you get into the practice of law. You're going to be outlining and then writing. That's exactly how you do your briefs, okay? So outline before you write. Don't spend too much time on it, but get an outline. Make sure you got the buzzwords. You want to make sure res ipsa loquitur's in there. Get it in there. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you're going to talk about a fair use defense. Get it in there, okay? Outline before you write. Tip number 5. Now you're putting the ink to paper, the thoughts to the paper. Maybe you're typing your exam. Be neat and legible, concise, short, concise, neat, legible. That's what you're looking to do, okay? The examiner has to be able to read your response. What good is it if you're super smart and you know everything and you've outlined it, and the examiner is going, what on earth, what does this say? I can't even read that. That's not what you want to be. Now, I'm going to tell you a personal story that's kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to tell it anyway. When I was first year in law school, maybe it was second year, I took a workers' comp class, workers' comp law. I absolutely hated it. I hate the topic. It's just not for me. I did my exam, and this is back when I was writing. I wasn't really typing back then. I was writing, and I could write really fast, but I didn't write very neat. So we take this practice exam, and the professor, I love the professor though, she came back in with the exam results, and she came in the next day, and she passed out a copy of this exam to every person in the room. And so I got it, and I looked at it, and I go, this is my exam. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And the teacher said, guys, he says, look at this guy. Obviously, he's a very smart guy, very intelligent. He's hitting the key points. But you can't read it, and so you're not going to get any points. So the teacher used my thing. It was anonymous, so nobody knew. I guess, it would be embarrassed if they did know, but, be neat, legible, concise. They need to be able to read it, okay? I used to actually like to draw underlines on the key words or key legal phrases like res ipsa loquitur or something where I really wanted to add some emphasis. But write neatly, legibly, concisely. If you're typing, make sure your typing is nice and neat. That's a great opportunity for something to look really nice, but don't have a lot of spelling errors and, big long run-on paragraphs. Make them in chewable paragraphs. 5, that's number 5. Number 6, make sure to give a nice, clear statement of the law and then drop in some tight legal analysis. What's what we call tight legal analysis. We go, that's tight. That is tight. So a nice, clear statement of the law. For example, party A threw a frisbee at party B, hit party B in the head with the frisbee. And then you talk about, is this a battery? This is a legal question. Is this a battery? Is this negligence? Could be either one. Might be talking about both of those. If it was done intentionally, is this intentional infliction of emotional distress? But basically give a nice, clear statement of the law. A battery is an intentional, harmful, or offensive bodily contact. An intentional, harmful, or offensive bodily contact. Get a nice, clear statement of the law. Let them know that you know the law, and then give a tight legal analysis. Now, when I say tight legal analysis, I mean the job of a lawyer is to argue two sides of the story. That's what they train you to do in law school. That's all you're paying for, is learn how to think like a lawyer. How does a lawyer think? A lawyer sees two sides to a story, maybe 3 sides, maybe 4 sides, maybe 5 sides. The general public sees one side, their side. They see the world through their own thoughts and their own lenses, and people have a hard time arguing both sides of a coin. That's what you're doing as a law. That is going to be your job as a lawyer. Show them that you know both sides. Party A may argue that this is an assault, whereas the defendant may argue that this was self-defense, purely self-defense. I think self-defense is the better argument. The elements of self-defense are reasonable apprehension of this, that, and the other, reasonable use of force. Talk about that stuff, but show them that you understand that law is not black and white. It is not, they used to tell us, this is not medical school. It's not like there's one answer that's right and one answer that's wrong. It's gray. Law is gray. You get to dance in that area of gray. You get to be creative and arguing. That's the creative process and the creative side of being a lawyer. So show them that you know. Tight legal analysis. Tight legal analysis. All right, number 7, moving on. Don't over or under hydrate. Now, this is more of kind of the physical side of the bar exam. You want to make sure you get your rest the night before. I wouldn't stay up too late cramming till the middle of the night. You're probably not going to remember most of that stuff anyway. But get your rest. Don't overhydrate and don't underhydrate. What do I mean by that? Well, you don't want to overhydrate because you may end up running to the bathroom 4 or 5 times. That is key, crucial time. And you'll know it too. If you get up and use the bathroom and everybody's writing away, you'll be going like, ooh, you'll never walk to the bathroom so fast. So if you overhydrate, you're drinking coffee or energy drinks or really just, iced tea or whatever, be careful. You might have to keep going to the bathroom. But on the other hand, you don't want to underhydrate. Sometimes, I'll speak for myself, sometimes I don't have enough water to drink, and speaking of, I'll probably have some right now, and then I start getting a headache or something. So you don't want to risk getting like a migraine or a headache or something that's going to screw you up on the second day of the bar exam. So don't overhydrate, don't underhydrate, and time is precious. All right. Number 8, breaks. This is critical, guys. This is critical, okay? You can do it your way. I know most people do not do it this way because I was there and I saw everybody. In between the exams when you get a break, what I see a lot of people do is they run to their cliques. What'd you see? I saw that. I saw this. I argued this. I argued that. Oh, you didn't see it? Oh, I should argue. I didn't think it was rule against perpetuities. I missed it. Oh, gee. So all that stuff leads to second guessing, can lead to doubt, can cause some extra stress that you don't need. Me, I get out, I get that break, I'll go get some water, chew on some walnuts or something, and go out and just relax, go under a shady tree, get over by myself. I like to just close my eyes and relax. Just close my eyes and relax, tune out the noise, and just kind of, and in a weird way, kind of enjoy it. Just feel like where you're at and what you're doing, and just like what a great job you're doing, So, but don't talk to other people, okay? I think it's not good. I say go off and relax on the breaks, okay? Number 9, another important one. Of course, they're all important. They're Attorney Steve's top 10 hits. Top 10 tips, I should say. Maybe there'll be a hit one day. Number 9, don't feel like you have to be overly exhaustive on every answer. And it's a hard thing to fight because you know so much And you'll get in that bar exam and you'll see all these juicy facts and you'll have all these laws you want to lay down and tight analysis, and you're really going to want to do it up. Problem is you don't have that kind of time. Part of the bar exam is time management. Can you get it done within these time frames? And I tell you, when you become a lawyer, you have certain time frames as well. Like you got to get things done. But don't feel like you have to be overly exhaustive on every answer. My 2 cents is that this is a test of general competency. I know that may sound, I'm not trying to minimize it, but to me, this is a test of minimal general competency. Do you have the basic essential tools to be a lawyer and represent clients in a good, strong fashion? You can only represent clients in a good fashion if you know the problem, you know the legal issue, you know the defenses, you know what they're going to argue, you know what you're going to argue. But don't feel like you're going to have all that kind of time. Make the outline, but just hit the points, spot those issues. Do not miss issues. That's why I say RTDQ and take your time reading the facts, two of the most important things. Okay, finally, if you made it this far, you are truly an Attorney Steve fan, and I love that. I did not take the bar review, as I mentioned, but one thing I did early on, I think I started doing it my second year in law school, is I started taking practice exams. I would go into the law library, and they would have all the old California bar exams, so I would just go through them. I would take the bar, and there was model answers, which was great because then I could kind of get a feel for what they were looking for. Like, what is a model answer? What does it even look like? Like, am I on track? Am I off track? But I would go into the library and I would just do those. And those were great. So when I came to the bar, it was all just kind of easy. I don't want to not to trivialize your bar examiners, but it's kind of easy for me. Anyway, what else do we have? Another tip that I really, really liked, and I don't know if they still make them, I assume they do, was these boxes of flashcards. Do you guys still have those boxes of flashcards? Awesome. I would just read these little tiny hypotheticals. The answer was on the back. Read the hypothetical, answer on the back. Read the hypothetical, answer on the back, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. At some point, you got a great feel. You really know the law, and that's important. Now, finally, there's one other circumstance. Sometimes, for example, I know someone that did not take an evidence class in their law school. Don't ask me why. Maybe it was COVID. Who knows? In those circumstances, you can tend to freak out because you can see, like, in a manual's evidence outline, it's like, lots of stuff, right? So one thing I recommend in that panic situation where you did not take con law, or you have to take civil procedure. Maybe you didn't take con law, something. If you're missing a class, you can get the bar review tapes. Get the bar review tapes, 4, 5, 6 tape set series. Those are invaluable. And one of the things I always did was I would listen to those tapes I would draw outlines. And the reason why I think I really mastered law school is I listened to all the tapes before I even went into the class. I already knew what the issues were going in. Then I'd listen to the teacher. I really knew what the issues were, made my outlines. So if you follow this process, I think you're going to be just fine. These are the key tips. The rest, you can go talk to your Barbary examiners. They'll tell you probably more things you need to know, but I wanted to make sure I gave you some of the things that maybe other people aren't talking about. But that's it. Attorney Steve's top 10 tips to mastering and slaying the bar exam. And folks, I know you're going to get it done, and I'll see you at the top. I'll see you at the bar.